What is this Diddy Blood doing on the calculator? It's blood Einstein. What is this Diddy Blood doing on the calculator? It's blood Epstein. What's up, y'all? I'm making a vlog. Because I got something on my mind. I want to talk about outsider art. I want to talk about outsider art and my issues with it as a as a thing. Because I've been see, when I was 12 years old, I had a really big fixation on Nirvana, and I've been getting back into Nirvana lately, the band, and I just have been continuously looking at Kurt Cobain's top 50 albums, because in his journals, which I own a copy of, and I got for like my 12th birthday or something, he wrote his top 50 albums. It's probably not his specifically, it's probably just like all of the Nirvana members contributing to this list, because it's top 50 by Nirvana. But like, who knows? Maybe that information is out there, but I don't know. And Kurt Cobain, of course, had a love for outsider art. And not only was he like known for loving Daniel Johnston, but also like the Frogs and the Shags and all these like artists you would call outsider artists. And it just got me thinking about the topic, because like I think Kurt Cobain is a type of artist that looks at outsider art and sort of feel, because like there's this sort of phenomenon that happens socially that I feel like could be it's, you could say it's misogyny. I'm just gonna use that point of comparison, because it's like and this just happens with all everybody on when they're on a social hierarchy, because people don't like being on a social hierarchy most of the time, because like you have to like sacrifice like parts of yourself and parts of like an innocence, so to speak. And I don't really mean innocence as like moral purity, but more so of like a wonderment, a fascination with the world, and earnestness in which you engage with things. Usually the woman, in a gender dynamic, the woman is the one who absorbs all of the childish fantasies of pleasure, of dreaminess, of everything that is not contributing directly to a collective machine. So like the woman, usually on the same social rung as the child, absorbs all like the colorful childish things, while the man goes off to do the big important things and sheds colorful expression, sheds dreaminess, looks at things literally and practically. And this can be seen in minutia on like all different rungs of the social hierarchy. It's the same. It's why white people want to be black so much, because black people are at the bottom, but also again absorb all the whimsical aspects of life, and so the white people who are doing the big important things, who have fully mechanized themselves, look at black culture and go, I want to be a part of that, I want to take that. And ultimately a lot of white people can't interact with black culture without turning it into capital, because black people are cattle in America. They are capitalism was jump started by the rape of the African continent. Go read Black Celebrationism by Aria Dean. That's a good ass read. But like, because like, fucking. That's sort of the dynamics we're working within. Of course, not all white people only engage with black art cynically. I'd say like I'd say not the majority, but like a good portion of white artists and who make black art tend to. That's neither here nor there. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. But yeah, so this can be seen with the in the music space or the art space in general. I'm focusing on music, but it's just art and outside of art in general. The art space where if you're an artist who exists in not just capitalism but any sort of like social hierarchy, then you have, but especially capitalism since it affects all of us. You are your time is capital. You want a return on investment. Likely, in all likelihood, you want a return on investment in your art. And with outsider artists, they're not thinking about the how sellable their art is, nor are they thinking about the meta, because a lot of people still hunger for the top of the hierarchy. They don't really aim for commercial success, but they aim for critical success. And critically acclaimed art looks like Evangelion. It looks like Black Country New Road. It looks like art that is creative and does all of these daring concepts, but has like a level of polish and presentability and working within an agreed upon view of humanity that fits, and specifically in the context of the West, that fits within Western perspectives. The West loves stories of great men, great individual men doing great things. So if you have if your view on life is not like that, if your view on life is more like loosey goosey and spiritual and deconstructive and post-human, like mine, or and they don't want to like dress it up in any presentability, then I don't know, just look at how people react to Act 6 of Homestuck or Ruby, you're thinking about that. But there are artists who have access to their true desires that are not being subjugated by hierarchy, and those artists, they tend to be because usually autism or schizophrenia are the reasons why outsider artists exist. And the concept of an outsider artist is someone who just doesn't pick up on the meta, the commercial meta or the critical meta. And so you have an artist like Wesley Willis, who literally just sings over loops on his keyboard about whatever's on his mind. There's no thinking about the presentability. They're not sitting there thinking about, I need to mix it and master it, I need to convey my point. They're not thinking about conveying anything. They're just doing it. They're just acting out their desires to create art. And the neurotic musician, someone like Kurt Cobain, who thought a lot about how to advertise Nirvana, who didn't have a lot of technical skills, did not really care about the technicality, like the actual like musicality on like an academic level, but more so thought about his music on like a critical meta. Like he loves punk music and what punk music means. And being Nirvana, being the biggest band ever, kind of gave Kurt, the music nerd, the perfect opportunity to do interesting things that he saw with the band until he committed suicide. And the way Kurt has like an affinity and a fascination for outside art is what I tend to see in a lot of experimental musicians on the internet. And this will also get into how the internet kind of destroys the idea of the outsider artist. Because, like, musicians who are like that, who are kind of different or on the outskirts, but are really, really neurotic about how they're seen by other people and are very aware, as opposed to, like, Daniel Johnston, who isn't aware or simply doesn't care. That's another thing. Outsider art definitions sort of presume a level of self-awareness the artist has, which you can't ever glean. And there's also infinite rungs of self-awareness. Self-awareness is kind of a myth. It's kind of a fucking stupid idea. Self-awareness isn't real. That's what I'm going to say right now. But like the neurotic artist looks at the outside artist and wishes they were there, and I felt this way too. Like, I am someone who also tends to think a lot about how my art is going to be received, but I also ultimately understand that I don't really care about how my art is received. I care about simply making it. And so that's where I want to get to right now. The idea of based art being the post-outsider art movement, and how Lil B, not just him, but like other artists like Macintosh, or the entire vaporwave movement, the entire underground online hip-hop movement, making styles like sigilcore, stuff like that, kind of destroy outsider art, be it like a post-outsider art thing. But yeah, no, like they artists, I think a lot of the time, specific artists want to be in that like pure flow state, want to capture the naivety, want to just be like the best example I can think of this actually is Porter Robinson talking about Lil B on Fantano's podcast. And which is really interesting because Porter Robinson and Lil B are like my little top two artists. Those two. You can also throw Violet Pony and Death Grips up there, but whatever. So Porter Robinson talking about Lil B is like, Porter Robinson is like the most neurotic artist ever. He is like Smile, his most recent album Smile was his departure from being so into just like polishing it endlessly, but like, he has OCD, and it very much informs how he makes art and what he's thinking about, because people with OCD or OCD-esque symptoms tend to just constantly think about how something is going to be received, and continuously makes narratives about it, does all these has these rituals to prevent it, is a fixation on that, and so Porter Robinson is sitting there listening to the song Something Comforting on every single speaker and he's listening to it, and he's like redoing it and mixing it and mastering it and making sure it sounds exactly like how he wants to do it. And meanwhile he's like, I see Lil B, and he just like freestyles a thing and he's good. Like, he just like does a stream of conscious thing and he's satisfied with that. While Porter, a lot of Porter's music is about never feeling satisfied. Like, that is kind of like what the last song on Nurture is about how his like constant dissatisfaction and reaching for a thing is a gift more than anything. but like, you know, he's a huge Lil B fan. You know, Lil B did that Porter Robinson based freestyle, which, by the way, was a gift to him from his wife. Yeah, he just like his wife just asked Lil B on Twitter to do a Porter Robinson based freestyle, and then he did it, and then Porter put it in his set. But yeah, like, and that's sort of the position, because, like, you know, in my own experience and phases of my life where I am, like, because, like, when I was 14 years old, I was making Weed Trash Productions videos, and I was just making this, like, it was very much like a homage to Endless Jest, but like it was like this big thing that ended with the end of Trash, which was this big 6-hour movie, and I was very much thinking about the perception of the movie, because I was trying to make the most, like, big impressive thing ever. Ironically, the end of Trash is in, I don't know if I mean, like, if you really want to see this video that I made when I was 14, you can ask me. I'll send it to you wherever you want me to, because it's currently unlisted, but I have no problem with giving the link to people who want it. But I personally don't like having the video up, because it was like a perspective on art that was actively self-harm. Like, I was just like sitting there being like, I need to put myself through as much pain as possible to make this, like, big thing, and it's just very much not what I'm about, and it kind of makes me really sad to see me do that. Whereas, like, I want to make a big ambitious, detailed thing just because I like that kind of stuff. When I'm trying to impress other people, I feel really terrible, and it's like a prison. Like, when you're just thinking about, like, how's this going to be received? How's this going to be received? And just neurotically picking apart. You are going to just, like, be miserable. But if you, like, choose not to care, if you're like, I don't care about, like, seeming like a good person, or, like, doing good in the world by making art, like, I just care about what I'm making, you're gonna be way happier with what you're making, because you're just making what you want. And, like, you don't have to, like, try and do all this stuff to make it, like, meaningful to other people, because it will just be meaningful to somebody. And, like, that's the whole thing with outsider art, as, like, this, like, idyllic woman thing in music nerd discourse. It is that outsider art is the whimsical, carefree place that artists want to be, because we're creative people. We want the space to be creative, and so, like, that's where the internet comes from, because the internet, you can do that so easily. Like, the reason outsider artists were so fascinating pre-internet is because they're just so isolated and in their world. But, like, you know, like, is Lil B an outsider artist? This is a debate. A lot of people think Lil B is. A lot of people think Lil B isn't. And I think it's just because he's post-outsider. He is the first post-outsider artist, because he literally started out in the pack, making Vans, making these pop rap songs, making these studio grade songs. You listen to something like MySpace off Six Kiss, and, like, he understands the fundamentals of hip hop that are commonly agreed upon by the hip hop community, and can perform them and create a well produced, conventionally good sounding rap song where he's being really lyrical, and the beat sounds like a fucking New York boom bap beat. But he, like, actively chose to prioritize making his, like, independent music where he's just improvising over whatever beat he wants to do, not worrying about the mixing and mastering, and just putting it on the internet and just doing that all day, every day, with no limitations on how much music he can make, and what the music could sound like. It could be anything. He doesn't really. It's not about that. It's just about doing the creation. And that's sort of what you have with the internet. Like, are you going to call, like, Lucia, rest in peace, by the way, Lucia, are you going to call that artist an outsider artist? Are you going to call any Sigilcore artist an outsider artist? Are you going to call Gomi or whoever an outsider artist? When, you know, they just kind of established their own niche and did that. And this can also go into, like, the inherent sort of, like, whiteness and capitalistic nature of the categorization of an outsider artist, as well as the ableism, because it's like cultures have their own ways of doing things, and then that will be established as, like, a norm within that niche. And so it's like, but I guess not, because the outsider artist is an emphasized individual. Whatever. That, I'm terminating that train of thought. Whatever. It's definitely ableist, though. Just because it's also just like, look at these schizophrenic and autistic people doing things in their own way. Isn't that fucking quaint, man? It's just like, it's infantilizing. You know, in the bad way, not in the good way, where I'm baby, and I'm treated like the ultimate princess baby, bitch, swag. Yeah, like, the internet has sort of destroyed, but you could also say that outsider artists still exist on the internet, because, especially now, because the internet has established such a strong, like, standard, not just in all these ways, but especially morally. There's high moral standards, which is why outsider artists these days tend to be people who are just, like, completely unmarketable on, like, a morality level. Like, fucking, 'cause there's this one Rate Your Music list that is like the, yeah, every outsider artist I could find on RIM. This is a Rate Your Music list, and you know, there's a lot of people on here who, like, literally, like, can't comprehend or can't, like, fit into, like, acceptable, marketable society. And, you know, I guess here's where I can talk about myself and my own art, because I have been called an outsider artist, especially because especially when I'm making things that aren't rap music. I'm like, I often think it sounds one way, but it actually sounds a different way. Like, I'm like, hey guys, I made a synth pop song, or hey guys, I made like a neo folk song, and then I am informed that these don't sound like a synth pop song or a neo folk song, and I'm like, well, not well, it's like the vibe is evoked, and they go, no, it's not, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I just hear something completely different than what I'm making, so that's why I'm called that. But, like, you know, it's like, I feel like post-outsider art is what I can categorize, you know. Ultimately, I'm trying to go to the world without categories. But, like, really all I'm doing is just making things just, like, the way that is the most pleasurable to me. Because, like, I don't care about my art being useful or good for society, because I don't really believe in society existing. I think that civilization should be expanded until it's gone, and and I think civilization is oppressive. I don't really care about anything other than making what I want to see, and I think you should also only care about making what you want to see. Because, you know, I've helped. That's the thing. Like, everyone just wants to enjoy their life, you know. And if you're enjoying your life, then you're helping. It's really that simple. truly enjoying your life with the respect to other people's consent. It's kind of like the only thing that really matters here is respecting other people's consent. But like, you can do and say whatever in your art, and that's the thing. Like, I'm really just going towards like a post morality artistic standpoint, because like you could sit there and try to be like, I want to make in like a fucking online sphere where everyone's watching shitty like video essays who just moralize at them about how we need to all just trying to attain this liberal fantasy of making the singular important work that is really changing everything. It's like, no, all you can really do is like speak your voice. But like outsider, like as a post outsider artist, it's just like that's where we should be, and where a lot of internet artists already are, is just like, well, we can just mix it however we want. We can just do whatever we want. What the fuck ever, you know? It's really like what art is engaging with your imagination, and you don't really need standards to do that. You know, you don't, like, everyone thinks they need a lot, but they actually don't need that much. Yeah, it's just like engaging with your imagination, and so if you strengthen your imagination and you're content and you accept what you like doing as an artist and what you like doing with your imagination, then you you end up enjoying your life way more. You just have to genuinely embarrass yourself. You have to like be embarrassing, which is painful. Which is why you have to. I recommend developing a sexual fetish for being embarrassed, and doing that artistically. Like literally, just being like, I'm gonna make the most embarrassing shit ever. I'm going to I'm going to make a thing where I talk like shit or I sing out of key, and because you know, it's not these, like, going outside of the standard is how you free yourself. It's like learning to love things that you think is bad artistically is how you free yourself. Like, if you're like, my singing is bad, it's like, nah, you're just singing a different way. Every country sings a different way, you know? Every country, like, all different cultures have, like, different, like, standards of music. Like, India has completely different idea of, like, music on, like, an academic level than the West. Like, it's like you're being literally creative, and if you just like, if you don't give a fuck, you make it more personal. And you know, like one of the most beautiful albums I've ever heard, and I think this is also another perfect example of a post outsider art album, is Psychopath Ballads by Young Lean, under his name Jonathan Lean Doer 127. Psychopath Ballads is fucking one of the most beautiful, amazing albums of all time. And it's just like Young Lean singing out of key, just belting out his heart on like these sample loops, and it's fucking great, you know. It's like, and it's just like and it's like euphoric flow state, creativity. I'm always aiming for that. It's just hard because you're going to make embarrassing things. You're going to make things that you're going to make things that people are going to like see as objectionable or low quality. They're going to have like a moral or reason to dislike it, or a personal reason to dislike it. You just gotta like own it, you know, like You know, it's like all like the art the visual art community on the internet is the worst about this, because they tend to be like, you need to draw things this specific way, and it's like, bro, chill out. You're like 14 years old. You're on DeviantArt. You know, you should be in the DeviantArt army. You know, you should like, because it's like, it's also just like playing pretend, bro. Like you need to get them action figures out and start playing pretend. You need to get them action figures out and start like exercising your imagination. A lot of you people don't fucking have a good imagine. You haven't exercised the imagination muscle. You know, you haven't sat there and really played like a fucking baby. Like you haven't been like, I'm playing with this car. Now this car turned into a dragon and fucking eats Kuromi from my melody, and then diffuses with that person. You're on the Toriyama tip. You know, I've been watching Dragon Ball Z lately, and the Buu Saga is the best saga because it's the most playful one. Yeah, that's so in conclusion, Nirvana were hacks. I'm just kidding. They were not. I love Nirvana a lot. Really, all their albums are 10 out of 10s. I guess like an outsider artist I will recommend is, everyone here should listen to Swag, Something We Americans Got by Rebecca Belinsky. That shit is fucking hard as hell. Yeah, that shit is so based. And rest in peace Daniel Johnston, and rest in peace Wesley Willis. Free Chris Chan. You know, I know Chris Chan is out, but free Chris Chan. Let's get Chris Chan as free as possible by 2030. We need Chris Chan to lead us in the march to the promised DeviantArt land, to base world, to infinite imagination, the infinite playground. You know, Chris Chan is currently a prisoner, a prisoner. She's from the fucking place where the infinite imagination place, and she's currently a prisoner. We need to get her out. We need to get her out. We need to free Chris Chan. 2026. We are doing this. We are freeing Chris Chan. We need the DeviantArt army. We need everybody involved. You need to get guns. You need to get swords. You need to train. You need to fucking do this. We are breaking her out, and we are letting the two places merge, bruh. Your autism or schizophrenia or any of these, I just want to add this. Your autism, your schizophrenia, PTSD, whatever like mental illness shit or developmental disorder shit that you have is good and active anarchist tools you have to free yourself, because especially if you're schizophrenic, and you can make yourself more schizophrenic by exercising your imagination and choosing to believe everything, even the contradictory things, especially the contradictory things. And if you just if you can train yourself to make creatures talk in front of you and to manifest things in front of you, then that's actually happening. And same thing with autism. If you're hyperfixating and just getting information from sensory information and constructing these worlds and being in low sensory environments and being unperceptive to other people, don't try to understand the normies. I've tried, it doesn't work. You'll find contradictions, and you'll find the face of your oppressors. You need to become more autistic. If you're not autistic, you can become autistic. If you're not schizophrenic, you can become schizophrenic. You should have every mental illness and developmental disorder all at once. and then strengthen those things, and then move, and then mobilize yourself through walls. You need to phase through walls, through sideways movement. You need to fucking close your eyes and draw a picture and then post it, and then take that and form it into a sword and stab somebody who is oppressing you with it, and then they'll divide them into a bunch of pieces, and those pieces will interact with each other. Divide yourself into pieces right now. DID, mass DID right now. Plurality is the new shit. Okay, you need to divide yourself into pieces so you can talk to yourself. That's what my new album's about. You need to talk to the things in the people in your brain and have conversations with them, because they're gonna tell you different information, you're gonna have friends, and you can have sex with them. You can have sex with all your alters, and it's fucking awesome. This is what fucking outsider art is about. Is literally, and what based art is about. Post outsider based art. And so I end this video off with, like, if you're someone who isn't constantly creative, which I think isn't many of you. I think my art mostly appeals to people who are all constantly creative all the time. But if you are not creative, if you don't make art, or if you struggle to make art, if you feel bad about your art, I want you to like time yourself. I want you to make something in 10 minutes. You can draw something and make a song, whatever, 10 minutes, and you have to stop in 10 minutes, and you have to just sit with it. And you just do that, and then and the only things you think about are you don't think about what you shouldn't do. You just think about, you just add shit. You just add shit. If your brain thinks of it, just add it. If there's a part of your brain that goes, that doesn't make sense, say, we're not gonna do that right now. We're gonna do the senseless thing right now. Yeah, be perverted, and be perverted as fuck. Make sex art. Make immoral sex art. You know what I mean, dog. You know what the fuck I mean. This is why I don't give a fuck about that one commenter who was like telling me, like, why did you ruin your comic? Nah, bro, I made it better. I'm just making what I want to make. I don't know what you want from me, dog. Like, I'm just making what I want to make. Like I'm just being happy. I'm being playful. I'm being whimsical. Like, what you want is a version of magic. You want what I was making before. Which, I mean, it was always supposed to break. Reality was always supposed to break. That was one of, I mean, it was different from when I started it, but that was always in the cards. And you want just like what I was doing, which is just cleanly executed character arcs and interactions, and it's really, it's like, I don't know, I'm way happier making chaos shit, so like, it's what's gonna happen. Swag, bitches, woo, bitches on my dick, stay base, stay positive, love everybody, act with love. Love is the most important thing here. Do what you love, even if that love defies shit. Consent is the only thing that matters. Just respect people's consent, but act with love before everything else. The internet's trying to make you not love people. Analysis YouTubers and video essayists and politicians and your mom and your dad are trying to, everyone feels like they have to give up the love. No, you have to find the love. You have to find the fucking love within you, bro. You gotta do it. Alright, swag.